Good morning, YouTubers and my becoming an entrepreneur is Robert Dunbar with Training by Dunbar. Please, before we get started, go ahead and smash that like button or subscribe button on the bottom right hand side of your screen. On the bottom right hand side of your screen, smash that subscribe button and then remember to hit the like button so that it brings more people to my channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Wanted to shoot a video again. What are we doing? Less than 10 minutes. And it'll also be some additional information banners going across the top of my head. So please click on those information cards to get more information, or maybe somebody else's channel, or maybe a poll question on some things that I'm talking about here. And stay tuned at the end, because you'll always see another video from me that it'll lead to from here. And I want you guys to sometimes take a look at that next video, because it's normally relative to what I'm talking about. So I want to talk a little bit about expectations. Been doing a couple of private coaching sessions with some people, and what I'm noticing is people are setting their expectations too high, and they're disappointing themselves, for one. And for two, a lot of times it causes insecurities, because they're putting themselves in a position to disappoint themselves, as opposed to getting small wins by setting correct expectations. So I'm gonna give you guys a story, and it's gonna be a shortened story. It's gonna be something from the Bible. As to whether you read the Bible or not, it's still gonna be a story that you can relate to. It just happens to be a story out the Bible. And there was a story about the 5 talents. And I'm gonna tell that story because it's kind of relative to what people expect, especially in the world of social media. So as you're becoming an entrepreneur, it's a really tough struggle, really looking to build up your business, especially when you're looking around at other people that may be involved in something in your industry. So I'm in the benefits, insurance benefits industry, and I'm also in the network marketing industry. And then, of course, I'm also obviously in the training and motivational speaking industry as well. So I've got 3 different industries that I kind of float around in and do work and do business in. And when you go to Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever it is you use, Snapchat, if you still out here using Periscope or any of these other social medias, what you'll find out is that there's a lot of people doing what you do. So you have to learn to glean off of what you see from them, see people having success, and sometimes do what they're doing if it works and it's systematic, as opposed to being what we call a hater and not liking their exposure, that the fact that they may have more likes or more followers than you. And I want you to kind of turn that mindset around so that you can create better expectations for yourself and don't disappoint yourself. Remember this: don't ever compare your everyday life, your struggles, your difficult points of your life to somebody else's highlight reels. Does that make sense? Why am I saying that to you? Because you'll look at Facebook and see that somebody's winning, right? And you're not doing good this morning or today or this month or this week or maybe even this year. And what happens, you say, hey, look, these people are winning, I'm not winning, what am I doing wrong? You get depressed, you get upset, and now you having insecurities about specific things. I know I've got friends that I run into at the gym, and they see that I work out pretty regularly, and I'm never really working out in competition with anybody. I can care less what anybody else looks like in the gym. I'm not working out to be some bodybuilder. I'm working out to stay in shape, because after I hit 40, I had set a goal for myself to, I wanted to look better. I told myself I wanted to look better at 45 than I did at 35. I wanted to look better at 50 than I did at 40. And I feel like I'm moving in that direction. So that's really my goal. It has nothing to do. And I'm in competition with myself. So what am I doing? My 45-year-old self is in competition with my 35-year-old self. My 50-year-old self is going to be in competition with my 40-year-old self. So I'm in competition with myself. See, I'm not going to hate on myself, and I'm not going to get upset because I look better at 35 than 45. I look better at 40 than 50. The goal is to look better at 45 than 35 and better at 50 than 40. But I want to make sure you understand I'm setting those goals and I'm competing with myself. Now, I know some of you all are competitive and you're going to compete with other people. That's fine. I'm just letting you know, in my world, When I'm at that gym, I'm competing with myself. But I'll run into people at the gym and they're like, they want to look a certain way, and they're feeling some type of way because they're on Instagram, especially a lot of women. Like, so I run into women in the gym and they're like, so what are you doing for this? And what are you doing for that? And I always ask questions, right? Because I never have a conversation with somebody without asking questions. And I always ask a question. So my question is normally to that person, why are you working on your legs the way you are? Or why are you working on your butt the way you are? Or what is it with the six pack? Is that something you've always dreamed about, getting a six pack? Or is it, just some kind of fantasy of yours that you want to see? Is it a goal you want to just accomplish? And most of the time for the women, and it might be that way for the men and they just not saying it. So I don't want to make it a man-woman thing. It could be the men could be feeling the same way and just not be willing to admit it. A lot of times the women are much more transparent and open, especially when they're talking to a guy. But most of the women will tell me they're trying to basically keep up with the Instagram models. They're like, well, it's this girl I follow on Instagram, and she's got she got these before and after pictures, and she used to be heavier than me, and now she's got the six pack, and she got this V going down in her bathing suit, and I want to look like that. Or they're looking at some girl that had no butt at all, and now they got this round, curvy, voluptuous butt that, every guy supposedly wants to have, or whatever their deal is. But there's normally some Instagram model that they've molded themselves into believing that they want to look like, and so that's why they do it. And the challenge for me with that is they don't know that person's whole story. They don't know where that person came from. Yeah, the before and after picture, we get that, but we don't know how real that is. So, we know before and after pictures nowadays, filters and all this kind of stuff. You can't trust any of that stuff. And you're really putting yourself in a bad place when you're competing with something that may not even be real, if that makes sense. So be careful with those kind of things. So setting expectations. So the story of the talents from the Bible. But it looks like I'm going to go more than 10 minutes, guys, so it's probably not going to be on Instagram. So this specific video probably won't hit Instagram because I got a lot more to say, and I'm already at over 7 minutes. So it probably will go longer than 10 minutes because I need to get this stuff out. So in the story of the talents, for those that's not familiar with the story in the Bible, these men were given talents, and the expectation was, I'm going to come back and let's see what you have with these talents. And I'm telling the story this quick and not going into detail because I don't want people who don't believe in the Bible or who don't read the Bible to not look at the video thinking that I'm getting religious on them. So, I got to be careful with, when you publicly putting things out. I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus. I pray. I church. I do all of that stuff. But I don't like to reflect my things on, project my things on other people and make them feel like I'm trying to pull them in something else. So just sidebar. So in the story of the talents, the idea here was, I'm going to give you 1, I'm going to give you 5, I'm going to give you 10. And when I come back to, to see how well you've done with these talents that I've given you, talents, that I've given you. And one of the gentlemen buried the talents in the ground, and then when he came back to collect or see what they had produced, he basically was just, hey, scared money don't make no money. If you heard that, I'm from the streets, so I've heard that, growing up, scared money don't make no money, right? They used to say that when they used to roll dice. And what that basically means is, if you're scared to bet, you can't win. If you bet small, you win small. That's what that translation is, right? Scared money don't make money. So the gentleman who buried the talents, being safe, right? So this is all relative to being safe and conservative. And if I just bury this, it'll be the same thing when I get back. I won't gain anything, but I won't lose anything mindset. And when he came back to collect and he says, hey, look, I buried it. Here's got exactly what you gave me. And what happened was, he said, you know what? Take that and give it to the guy who turned 10 into 20, right? Which is also relative to, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? You don't use it, you lose it. And that can be taken in, all different atmospheres and environments and industries, right? That saying. And setting expectations is where I'm going with this video. So I'm giving you this story about the talents because I want you to understand that the person didn't do anything with it. They buried it being safe and conservative and gave the person back what they gave them. The other person took 10 and turned it into 20 talents, doubled the talents, right? Took it and really made a great use out of it because wanted to build something, wanted to multiply, wanted to multiply what was given to him. So setting expectations and putting yourself in a position to build upon something in a process where you don't set yourself up for disappointment by saying you're going to do more than you can, or causing a problem when you're saying you're starting to feel insecure because you've bitten off more than you can chew and you keep feeling like you're failing every day as opposed to building every day. Because if you're building every day, those small wins create confidence. If you're breaking yourself down every day with disappointments, then you start to have insecurities in specific areas of your life. So in this story in the Bible, when this happened, one of the lessons here was, where did you start from? So going back to the Instagram and going back to the Facebook, where did you start from? So you're a network marketer, and you've been in network marketing for 5 or 10 years, and you say, look, I earn $30,000 a year in network marketing. I'm working really hard, but I got a full-time job. So I'm doing network marketing part-time. I'm not really giving it, the full thing. And then you got somebody else that's saying, hey, I'm doing $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $1 million a year. Depends on what company you're looking at. Depends on who you're using for an example. And you're asking yourself, why is this person doing so much better than me? We're in the same company. We got the same product. We got the same comp plan. They can build a team just like I build a team. I'm in a big city. They're in a big city. That person works full-time. I work full-time. Why is it that they're doing so much better than me? The question you have to ask yourself is, where did they start from? Have they been in network marketing for 20 years and this is just a new company for them? Because if so, they've got 15 years more experience than you. Have they built a big team in another company and then come over here, right? Motivational speaker. Has that person been speaking for years and just not been on the main circuit so you don't know that? Sometimes you run into a person and you say, how long you been a motivational speaker? Oh, 3 years. Man, how did you get so, you got all these YouTube videos and all these likes and people following you, and I'm watching the stuff that you're doing, and you got 200-300 people in the audience, and I've been speaking, man, for 15 years. How come I don't have that kind of audience? How come I don't have that kind of following? Well, because that person may have been a pastor already. They may have already been doing speaking engagements, but not considered themselves to be a motivational speaker. They may come from a very prestigious college where they've got a following because they're part of organization that's connected to their college. They may have been in some speaking organization for 10 or 15 years and have a huge following because they've done things. You don't know. They could be doing volunteer work, and that's why they're so famous. You have no idea where they came from. You're comparing yourself to somebody, but you don't know what they started with. Where am I going with this? In the story about the talents, one person was given 10. Another person was given 1. So even if the person that was given 1 had have not buried that 1 and had have doubled it or tripled it, they would have only had 3. If the other person doubled, they would have had 20. And if somebody walked into that circumstance and says, this guy's got 20, this guy's got 3. The guy with 20's got to be working harder. He's got to be doing more. He's got to have more work ethic. He's got to be getting up earlier. When really that's not necessarily the case. Because the guy that's got 20 only doubled, but he started with 10. The guy with 1 tripled, and now he has 3. That's not what happened in the story in the Bible, but I'm giving you that example. So what I want you to understand is sometimes you're comparing yourself to someone who started in a different place than you did. So you have to be careful when you're saying to yourself, this person is doing better than me, because you don't necessarily know where they came from. They go to a really great college, and you go to maybe your local city college, or that you got a little bit of funding for, or your parents were able to afford it, and you're saying, man, this guy's in this great college and he's got this great education, or you look for a job somewhere and somebody your age, right, coming from the same area that you come from, they got a better skill set, or they've got the college that they went to versus the college that you went to is much better, so they got a much better chance to get a job. And you're comparing yourself to that person when really that person's parents may have paid for them to go to a college that was way more prestigious than you. So I hope you guys are getting this. You can't compare yourself to people because it'll create a disappointment. So setting, and this is all relative to what I'm saying, to setting expectations. What are your expectations? So if you're in a network marketing company, if you're building up, if you own a tax office, if you own a restaurant, what are your expectations? How are you setting your goals so that you can accomplish those goals a little bit at a time, so that you can build a real confidence in yourself? Or are you on TV looking at a reality show and trying to compare your restaurant to some reality show person's restaurant when you don't know how they started their restaurant? They could have had rich parents who gave them the money to start the restaurant, and that's why they were able to bloom the way they did. And you got a small business loan, or you worked a job for 10 years and saved the money to open up your restaurant, and now you got a really tight budget. So everybody's scenario is different. That's why it's important not to compare yourself to other people, and to set expectations that are reachable. So sometimes when we talk about setting goals, goal-orientated people, we say you want to set reachable goals. You want your goals to be something that they're high enough so that you stretch yourself, but they're reachable, because if you keep setting your goals out so far that you're saying, I'm stretching myself ridiculously. Giving you an example. So I'm a six-figure ring earner in the network marketing space, and my next ring for me to achieve is 150,000. That would be the ring that I'm reaching for. Well, I set an unreachable goal to get there, but in the back of my mind, I knew it was unreachable, but I was looking to push myself. So when I don't meet that goal at that specific time, it won't hurt it won't cause any personal development damage. I'm looking for a good way to explain it so that it makes sense to everybody listening. It won't affect my ego. It won't make me depressed. It won't cause any mindset for me that causes me to be disappointed or feel like, or create any insecurity, because I knew that it was a stretch when I said it, but I wanted to push myself. But some people don't realize that they're constantly racking on their brain. They're constantly beating themselves up because they're setting goals that they can't reach. They can't reach. And now they become insecure, as opposed to taking these small wins. So let me give you an example. Setting expectations. You're selling something. Whatever it is you do, you're selling something. And when I'm doing sales training, I try to get people to understand that you never count the results, you only count the activity. Why is that? Because when you count the activity, you can control that. Because if I say I'm gonna make 30 calls a day, 50 calls a day, I can lock that time out from distractions, and I can make that many calls a day. I have control of that. I do not have control of how many people I close or how many people I get on the phone. So if I say I'm going to talk to 30 people today, I don't have control over whether I talk to 30 people today. Why? Because 30 people may not answer the phone. And if they don't, and I feel like I failed in that goal, now I'm setting myself up to be disappointed. And if I continue to do that, now I'm having an insecurity, and I start to tell myself that making X amount of calls doesn't work, when really it is working. But because I'm setting my goals incorrectly and I'm trying to count something that I can't control. So if I count the results, I'm put myself in a bad position. If I count the dials, probability says if I dial this many times, I'll close this many people. So I don't know what the numbers are in your industry. You can figure that part out. But I'll tell you is, if you make enough calls, you're going to close enough deals to make enough money to build your business. That I can guarantee you. So if you say 50 calls a day, 50 calls a day, 50 calls a day, when you make those 50 calls, what happens is all you concentrate on is making those calls, not on the results of those calls. Your paperwork, your charting paperwork will show you the results. So you'll have a sheet of paper that you're taking notes on, and you're going to say, I made this many calls, I got this many people to answer, I got this many results, I have this many follow-ups, I closed this many deals, and now you create a ratio, and you say, okay, I know when I make 50 phone calls, I generally get 5 serious people on the phone, and one of those serious people turns into an actual deal closing. So if that's the case, and these are just hypothetical numbers, if that's the case, then that means if I make 50 calls a day, I can close 1 deal a day. Now, I may not close it that day because it may take some follow-up. But if 50 calls nets 1 closed deal, I know that if I make 50 calls a day, that's 250 calls a week if I'm counting just Monday through Friday, which means I'm netting 5 deals a week, which is basically 20 deals a month if you're looking at 4 weeks in a month, 5 deals a day. Now, for those technical people that are saying, well, what about leap year and 5? Look, guys, no time for that. I'm generally speaking. 30 days in a month, typically speaking, you're going to close about 20 deals a month, give or take a few deals, using those numbers. That's how you build confidence, as opposed to you saying, I'm going to count my results, but you have no idea what your results are going to be because you don't control the results. You only control the activity. I can say I'm going to make 250 phone calls a week, and if there's 4 weeks in a month, I made 1,000 phone calls this month. So I made 1,000 phone calls and I closed 20 deals. That's now my ratio. So now when I'm making my 1,000 phone calls a month, 1,000 phone calls a month, I know I'm going to close right around 20. So if I close 15 or 16 or 23 or 24, give or take, I know I'm falling in that realm. Hope that makes sense to everybody. So setting those expectations and knowing what you should be counting as opposed to what you shouldn't be counting. Because you don't want to set yourself up for disappointment by saying that you're going to do something that you don't really have control over whether you can do it or not. So if I own a restaurant, I can say, I want to get my crowd up. I want to have some nights where I'm forcing people to do reservations, because on these 2 nights of the week, I'm going to have it really busy and people are going to have to call and set reservations. And I want it to be a position where people are waiting 30, 40 minutes to get in this place because these 2 days. Well, how many people need to be in your restaurant for that to happen? You got to work that deal backwards. This many people. Okay, well, great. Now I got to I have to create a ratio by saying, okay, let's try some marketing tactics and figure out how many people I can get in. Once you do some cycles of marketing and figure out what's going to be the best marketing for your restaurant to draw that crowd, now you do the thing, which is, okay, I got a street team. They're going out and they're putting flyers out because I got a special night. I'm going to have live music. You do some commercial ads, whatever it is you're going to do. Again, guys, don't use these examples because I'm just hypothetically throwing things out there. I don't own a restaurant, so I don't know what the best marketing tactic is. You're going to have to find that out from somebody else. I'm giving you an idea of when you go and do these things, you have to work it backwards, because what do you want your final number to be? You have to build up to that number by creating the activity. And once you count the activity, which you can control, and if you say, okay, well, I'm 5 short of my final goal, what do? You increase the activity. Because if you increase the activity, you increase the results. That's what's going to be. That's what's going to happen. So if I know that if I say I make 1,000 calls a month and I close 20 deals a month, but if I want to close 30 deals a month, that's 10 more deals than when I'm closing. So hypothetically speaking, just general math, right? I didn't do good in algebra 1 and 2, but I could do simple math, right? That means that I need to make about 500 more calls. I need to make 1,500 calls a month in order for me to close 30 deals. So how do I work that backwards? I'm going to say, okay, well, I need to make 500 more phone calls. I know I'm making phone calls 20 days, 5 days a week for 4 weeks. So I'll just take 500 and divide it by 20, and whatever that number is, that's how many phone calls I add to each day. And then now I got that many more phone calls I'm making every day. So now I'm not making 50, I'm making more than 50. So I'm probably making 75 if I'm doing the math right, because I'm talking about a 50% bump in my sales. So I mean, I'm making a 50% bump in my calls. So that means the 50% bump goes from 50 calls a day to 75 calls a day. So now I'm making 75 calls a day, which takes more time, but it's probably going to net me the 30 sales that I need to make. Hope that's helpful to you guys. So setting those expectations and not looking at social media to compare yourself and hurt yourself, but looking at social media to get ideas. Know how to use what you put in front of your face to build yourself, not tear yourself down. So with every gift, there's a curse. And this is a whole other training, so I'm not going to go into this in depth at all, because I certainly don't want this video to be more than 30 minutes. I'm really pushing it right now, especially with the millennials. So every gift has a curse. And I'll do a video on that. But for this example, I'm going to tell you, social media is a gift, but it's a curse. It kills a lot of time. You get to hear everybody's opinion. There's now electronic bullying or social media bullying, all these different things that happen, an accountable amount of other things negative because of social media, right? But positive things too. You know, I have a grandchild, first grandchild, and I can FaceTime with her. I can look at pictures of her on social media that her grandmother puts there. I can engage with my family because I'm in Florida, but most of my family is in Buffalo, New York. I can engage with them through social media and through FaceTime and through all of these different electronic advances that we have. So the gift is it creates stronger relationships, and if you're a business owner, it allows you to market without having a marketing budget. It's incredible, right? So whether you're a church, whether you're a realtor, whether you're a network marketer, whether you own a restaurant, people now have said, I don't need a website. I've got a Facebook landing page. So all these different things you can really, it's a gift and a curse to it. So when you're looking at social media, make it a gift, not a curse. Don't look at somebody, don't be a realtor and say, right, I'm a woman realtor, and I say, this realtor, she looks better than me. She's in better shape than me. She's always taking better pictures than me. She knows how to use social media better than me. Her hair is always nice. I see a lot of very nice looking realtors, right, doing real estate on social media. And then I've got women friends that are realtors, and I hear them like say things like, oh, this girl, she's getting all these deals because like she looks really good, and it's like, I'm not going to say she doesn't get deals because she look good, because I don't know whether she does or not. But you're comparing yourself to how a realtor looks when the skill set is real estate. I'm sure it helps that you look good and you're doing real estate, but you could be an unattractive, successful real estate agent. I know that because I know some. I know some good-looking real estate agents and some unattractive real estate agents, right? I know some good-looking network marketers and some unattractive network marketers. I know some good-looking business owners and some unattractive business owners that are all successful. Don't use that as a comparison. If you see them doing something that you think is making them successful, steal the idea. Rob and duplicate, guys. Now, we're not talking about steal something out of somebody's book and get copyright infringement. You guys know I don't mean that. What I'm talking about, you can steal styles. You can steal, like you will see some of the best works you'll see are things that have been taken from somebody else and recreated or changed just a little bit. So if you're saying that girl's got really nice, don't hate on her hairstyle. If you think the hairstyle looks nice on you, then get your hair like that. Real simple, right? I got people that I model in network marketing. I have people I model in benefits. I have people I model as a trader. Everything is stolen from me. All of my motivational speaking stuff, my training stuff, I don't make any of this stuff up. Are you crazy? I'm 44 years old. I've been alive 44 years. The stuff I say, people have been saying it. So I steal the stuff and I put it in my material, but I have a completely different topic and I use it mixed in with the things that I'm talking about. So I don't steal it verbatim, but I take the idea of what they're saying and I place it in a video that I'm doing based on my idea of my video because I have my own audience. So I'm just telling you guys, use social media as a way to grasp ideas and be creative. Don't use it to hurt yourself and disappoint yourself and depress yourself. So look, guys, Robert Dunbar signing off. This is probably the longest video I've done here. So training by Dunbar. You'll see my logo branded here on on my YouTube site as well. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Again, remember, guys, really important for me. If you're a follower of mine, if you're a friend of mine, please hit that like button. Please comment if you want to comment. Please hit that subscribe button so I can get my subscriptions up. Robert Dunbar again, signing off. Training by Dunbar. See you guys on the next video.